Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models. Welcome to issue 5 of the Fast and Furious Build the Legendary Dodge Charger RT from Fanhome. This part work has been provided to me by Fanhome, so thank you very much for them for doing that for me. And we'll have a look and see exactly what it is we're going to be doing this week. As ever, with the start of the magazine, we take a look at the story, the world of Fast and Furious. Street racers, yeah, it's all about street racing. That's what it's all about. And that's obviously, this is what we're building in 1/8 scale. So in hugely bigness. Rob Cohen, a filmmaker with a love of cars, surfing and action movies. There we go. Nice little bit of fluff that I probably will never read, but there we go. History of the Dodge Company, founding of the Dodge Company. That was the first Dodge car. It looks a little bit different to the one that we're building at the moment, but there we go. Right, this week we are connecting the front left wheel to the chassis. So we have some parts provided to us. Not a lot of parts. There's lots of bags of screws and things this time, but apart from those, there's only very few parts. But one of them is very big and heavy. It's a big hunking chunk of the front section of the chassis, not even the whole thing, just the front section. So that's what we have there as the main part this time. We've got what's 5B is the front suspension torsion bar, the left tie rod end, the left tie rod, and other various bits of cover plates and things. So I'm going to get these out of the pack because we don't need the pack anymore. Do always check to make sure the pack is empty before you dispose of it, because, you know, having to look for bits. This is another metal chunk. That's metal as well, as is that. That's plastic. And that is metal. So just the one little plastic bit, and the rest of it is all metallic. So let's have a look. I'll put the picture up and we'll start doing the building. We're basically taking the wheel from last time, which I have conveniently arranged here, adding bits to it, and then adding that to the entire frame. So yeah. At the end of this, I'll come back and have a look at the rest of the magazine. But let's get this up here first and see what we're doing. Right, so straight off the bat, we are getting this part, 5C, which is the tie rod end into the circular hole in the spindle, which is the hole down there. So we're just dropping that into there. It says dropping it, but it's quite a tight fit. It's the right bit. It's just, yeah, right. Let's just double check that it's not shaped in any way. No, it doesn't seem to be shaped. It's just tight. Yep, that's just going to take a little bit of forcing it in there. Obviously being careful not to bend anything. There we go. That's in there. Cool. Slide one end of the left tie rod, 5D, this bit. Right, this has got a shape to it. I don't know if that's deliberate or if it's just bent. Ensuring that the two small pins of the tire are facing the same way as those shown in the illustration. They don't seem to show that. No, looking at the inventory page, it's not actually bent up. So being that this is metal, I think it's just got a little bit distorted. So I'm going to carefully straighten that up a little bit. Maybe a little bit more than that. Let me get a pair of pliers on there. So if I can carefully support in there right at the bit at the base, and that bent a little bit, I'm going to leave it there. That's almost dead straight now, so I shall leave that happily like that. We'll use that end in here. Actually, I'll put the other end in there. Right. So this is going around there with the teeth going that way, the two little pins at the back here going in that way, with a JM screw. JM, I have these here, so let's get one of those out. And does it show which way the screw is going in from the outside, which is the more convenient way of doing it? I'll be hard pushed trying to put it in the other way. So this is going through there, through that piece I've just put in there, and going all the way home like that. So you've got up and down pivoting movement on that, and that's obviously the steering arrangement. I should guess. I don't know. Right, separate the shock absorber piston, right, and then put the spring in it. You know when I said I've got everything ready? I haven't got the spring that they provided last time. I shall go and get that now, and then go back and assemble it. Okay, the spring from last time I had put safe aside in a bag. Didn't really need to for that length of time, but there we go. So this is just separating like that. The spring is going inside that piston, and then that goes back together. So that's creating a much stronger suspension than we had before. If I can get that to move back down again at all. It's not even moving. Right, is that because it's not lined up or because it's just acting against the spring? Well, it is in there, so it must just be because of the spring. So hopefully that's going to be okay, and it's going to move better once I've got some weight on it. Obviously the whole weight of the car is going to be acting down on that in normal resting mode, so there's a lot of weight going down through it. So that's fine. Insert the piston inside. I've done that. Right, next up, bringing in the big boy upside down. Right, put the front section of the chassis on the work surface with the hollow side facing upwards. Just done that. With its flat surface facing upwards, line up the front left cover plate 5F. That's that long one, right, with the flat bit upwards. That's going over here, over there, right, okay. All right, so this is just the cover. There's obviously going to be covers over most of this bit, but a little bit at a time. CM screws to hold that in place. 2 of those out of there. That's probably the last one of those that I'm going to need. Position it over there, fix it in place with an AM screw. Wait, what? Fix in place with CM. I jumped ahead. I missed out an entire paragraph of that writing. So this one is going in there with 2 CM screws. One in there and another down the other end. Turn that round, get a better grip on it. Tighten that in. Reading ahead, and then we're putting the 5G, which is the smaller one, in the second recess on the left side. Okay, that's got in there. Yeah, I assume that's okay. So this is going into with an AM screw. It looks like this is at an angle. Smooth side facing down. Wait a minute, did I put that in the wrong way around? Flat surface upwards. So this is flat side down. So this is going in there like that, but there's 2. Right, I've got an option as to 2 bits. It's that way round. Right, AM screw. I can just about make out on the picture what I'm meant to be doing. So this has a lumpy bit and a non-lumpy bit. From the look of the picture, we're putting this into the non-lumpy bit side, and it's holding it into there, just like that. So with an AM screw. I haven't actually paid any attention to what the differences are between all these screws, except for the names of them. They look very... Oh no, this is a little bit heavier, the AM. So let's tighten that in there. Okay, so far so good. That's that front end of the chassis. This is the front end. That's the back. Is that the front of the car? This is the front. Oh, this is the whole front end. So that's the front bit of the front end. Okay. Insert the wider end of this into the hole near the left side of the front. So it's this bit up here, coming in from that end. Now again, this has got a curve to it. So I'm assuming that my pack has just got a little bit distorted in transit. It was in a bubble pack, but obviously the bubble packs are potentially able to be squished and distorted a bit. So that's going in there and is being held in place with a DM screw. one DM screw. One screw's left in all of those, so they're probably spare. I'm liking that we're putting things together. It's getting big, but you know, instead of having a loose wheel now, this is going to be attached, and it's going to be lovely. So there we have that in there. Then we're turning it over. The torsion bar housing 5E, the only other bit that we've got left, into the small slot in the middle of the left side of the chassis. So it's going in there. Oh, and that's going in there. Right, okay, that makes that line up, and that is just about in the right place already, so that's good. And an IM screw holding that in place. Let's get one of those out. Come on. There's only two in there, so one of them's going to be fine, and the other one's stay in the bag. You've got a couple in there, one JM, but I don't think I've used that yet, have I? I don't remember. It's been minutes since I've done anything like that. I don't remember if I've used it or not. So this is holding that in there. What did it say that was? A torsion bar. I don't know what that does. It's something to do with engines and cars, but I don't know what. That's not even close to being tight yet. Go further in than that. That feels tight now, and that is not. Yes, it is still wobbling a bit, so it's not obviously as tight as I thought it was. That's not wobbling anymore. Not wobbling is obviously a good sign with this. So that's going across there. Obviously not a functional moving part. It's decorative, but it still needs to be in the right place. That's that. Right, turn the front section of the chassis back over. I've got it that way around now. And attach the front upper left spring mount 4J. That's this bit. That bit, hang about, we're over here. That is going onto there. Oh, this whole, that's the bottom. I was thinking that was going to be the top of the thing, but it's not. Right, so these peak plugs are going into these holes there by the looks of that. By inserting the two pins in the corresponding sockets. Right, okay. So yeah, they're just going to go into there. And the spring's just fallen out of it, because obviously the spring's fallen out of it because I moved it. Let's put the spring back in. Yeah, this is why we didn't put the spring in last week. You can already see the paint scuffing off of this piston just by moving it a little bit. Okay, so let's try that again without moving everything, because that bottom bit dropped down. That's what caused that to drop out. So let's try that again. That's just going in there like that. Okay, just insert into the pins. Insert the pins into the holes. I'm going to turn it. It's not actually, are they? All right, there are holes in there, so we're going to be screwing that in from this side, no doubt. So let me turn the page and make sure. Yes, there we go. FM screws are going in there. When the wheel assembly in place, turn it over and attach the spring mount using FM screws through the chassis member. So FM screws, they're only tiny little screws. I was expecting something a bit more substantial. But, you know. Right, so these are going into these two big holes. They'll be going through into the bit that I've just attached, which I'm not sure is in quite the right alignment at the moment. But I don't need it to be at the moment. I just need to make sure things aren't falling apart again. Actually, yes, it was pretty much in alignment, so that's okay. So now we can get these tightened down a little more. And the other one. Lots of screw holes around here, so I don't know anything about how cars work, so it's all new to me. Yeah, so that's obviously very wobbly on there because it's not tightened up yet. But that's okay, because tightening it up is something that I can do. momentarily. I'm going to go backwards and forward between these two, tightening them down a bit each, just to make sure it's balanced and even and everything is lining up as it should. So now this has got to be the front, because this is the front left tyre, so it's going to be, that's the front, not the back, that's the middle of the car. I don't know. Right, that piston's come out and the spring's obviously laying down there again, just as I expected. But the important thing at the moment is that is now attached there securely like that, and it says leave it like that, it should be connected. So I'm going to try and put this back in. If I can put it in that way, there we go. Now I can see exactly where it needs to go, in there, and then that needs to go in over the top, and hopefully at some point soon we're going to be attaching this bit to somewhere, and obviously that bit, so that will attach to, it's probably going to go on the end there, isn't it? I think maybe, I don't know. It lines up very well to go there, and then that will allow this wheel to turn with the steering. So yeah, I'm quite happy with how that's come along so far. So that is what we've got there, except for one more thing. I've got an EM screw. Align the front hole. Oh, this is where it's going. It is going on there. See, I nearly missed an entire stage. Let me get this the right way round for that picture. Like that. Right, yes, an EM screw. The picture doesn't show it very clearly, because it's got it a long way away and then a little dotted line that sort of blends into the overall picture of everything. But yeah, this is going to hold in on the other end. I'm going to turn it around completely so I can actually get to it. But yeah, that is lining up with there. This is going through that and into the end of this. A bit like that. In fact, quite like that. So this will move. Suspension is going to operate through that. So yeah, that's going to go in there. Let me tighten this down on here. Move that out of the way again. There we have that. So now that's all tight and secure. This is obviously going to connect up at some point. The wheel still turns, and yeah, the suspension is moving a bit. It's not moving a great deal, whether that's because I've done something wrong or just that it needs yeah, a bit more force, and it moves quite a lot more. So that's okay, and it's springing out, so that's good. That's as that should be. Cool. So that is stage 5 final result. There we go. Moving me mat around. I'm so excited. That's that. Yeah, let's have a look at the rest of the magazine. There's a little bit on the tuning and things, isn't there? The SEMA show, I don't know what that is, but it's obviously on sort of tuning hot rod show. A trade fair for customised vehicles and their accessories. There we go. That looks very strange. I don't know that I like that. I like that. That looks sleek and lovely. But yeah, the rest of it's not so much. Yeah, okay. A very nice artwork. It's beautifully done. It's probably obviously some sort of decal or something, or possibly hand painted. Judging by how these things go, it's probably hand painted. That's that. As ever, nothing on the back. So that was issue 5. Issue 6 will be coming up in a few days, so stick around for that. Thank you again to Fanhome for supplying me with the part work, and I shall see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.